Here's the problem. If you are, say, a team like the Chicago White Sox, and you are a team that is looking to get a new general manager and you're firing your staff that you currently have, why in the hell would you promote from within? What the hell? That's just more of the same. That is the same program, the same progress. You're just making not even a lateral move. It's just this. You're not even making a move. It's the move that's already there. It's insane. And now other names that are being bantered around, guys like Dayton Moore, who I actually very much like both on and off the field because he was my general manager my short time with the Kansas City Royals. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend the anti-porn meetings weren't weird as hell.
You're right. First off, we have not been bullying this team. We have just been stating the obvious, repeatedly stating the obvious. But no, I think you're spot on, right? When you do the same thing over and over, I mean, I hate to fall into cliches. I do my best to avoid them, and my broadcasting career, as minuscule as it might be, but the old Einsteinian definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, and it just feels like that's kind of where we are for 2 years in a row now. You and I have opened the season on this show and said, if you look 1-9, this White Sox team should have as much talent as just about anybody, certainly as anybody outside of maybe the top 2 or 3 teams in baseball. And for the second year in a row, it just felt like it's just repetition of the same. I think there is very clearly a culture problem. I think there is very clearly a leadership problem. The Rays are now within 1 run on that differential. The Dodgers are within 17 runs of that differential and closing that gap very quickly. So the Rangers are still one of the best teams in baseball in terms of run differential, but they've given 15 back in that run differential since the last time we checked in on this 7 days ago. They have given 15 back, which means they are getting outscored. Sorry, I lied to you. That's in the last 3 games.
Yikes.
They've lost 8 out of 10. In the last 3 games, it's gone down 15. Now, again, is that number any reason to panic? No, it's not, right? It's not a reason to panic. But I do think it is an indicator that the Ranger offense has slowed down dramatically. We talked about the pitching. We talked about Houston and Texas both bumped up the pens at the trade deadline. That means that they're going to win games defensively, except for you've still got to score runs even with a Verlander or a Scherzer if they were pitching their best ball. And it's arguable whether they are or not since the deadline. But for them to give that many back in that short a time period, I don't think it's let me put it this way, Deck. I am worried that we are teetering away from this is a cold stretch for the Rangers into the Rangers just lost the mojo. And if they did, it's going to be Houston v. Seattle down the stretch. And that's fun to me because you got the old guard in the new, and it could be a great, great race to the final game of the regular season.
Which about a team that I've been telling you all season long is going to win the AL West. It is their time. The Seattle Mariners, who, by the way, were roughly at the trade deadline or the All-Star break, 5 to 7 games out of that wild card spot because they were having a rough first half, and then there was even clamoring that they might be sellers. I'm like, they're not sellers. Just you wait. They'll seem like sellers for a second, and then all of a sudden, they're going to go on their tear. Why did I think that? Because they did it last year. Why did I think that? Because they did it the year before that. That's right. This is a second-half ball club. The Seattle Mariners have clawed their way back. They have won 9 of their last 10. Yet again, they have 2 separate 8-game winning streaks this month. As good as the Dodgers have been in August, you can make the argument the Mariners have been even better. The Mariners are currently, as we speak, tied for first place, which means if you look at the wild card standings, there are 4 teams in the 3 wild card spots because you got yourself the Tampa Bay Rays, you got the Seattle Mariners, you got the Texas Rangers, you got the Houston Astros. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Seattle Mariners' time. It's their year. They're doing it without Robbie Ray. I think we're going to see a deep run from Seattle, and I want it injected directly in my veins. Julio Rodriguez needs to be a household name by the end of this season. Houston looks fine. They're kind of middle of the ground right now. They're not playing their best baseball. 4-6 in their last 10. Texas has fallen off the map all of a sudden. They've lost 8 of their last 10. A bad time to do it while the Mariners are surging the way they are. Dude, watch out for this Seattle Mariners team. And when it gets to October and they do win that division, baby, I'd be very worried about anybody playing against them because I think the Mariners are real people. Watch out, baby. AL best, very best, Seattle Mariners. I think the Arizona Diamondbacks are going to get that second spot. But now it becomes a very interesting question. Who's getting the third spot? It's going to be between these following teams. Miami, they're still in it. 2.5 out of that last spot. Cincinnati, still in it. Just 1 game out, along with the San Francisco Giants. Still in it. 1 game out. I want the Cubs to make the playoffs. I really do. I really, really do. I do not think the Cubs will make the playoffs in the wild card. If the Cubs want to make the playoffs, I think they need to topple Milwaukee. I truly do. I think I look at every other team that I just mentioned. San Francisco, Miami. I do think these teams are still a little better than the Cubs.
Going to agree, and I'm going to break down one step further, which is here is the upcoming remainder of August and early September for the Seattle Mariners. They've got 2 more games against the Royals, a 3-gamer against the Oakland Athletics, a 3-gamer against the New York Mets, a 3-gamer against the Cincinnati Reds, a 4-gamer against the Rays, and then a 3-gamer against the Angels. Then they've got 3 against the Dodgers, the second best team statistically in the National League and a very good threat to take over that role from Atlanta. Then on the way out, they've got Oakland, a 3-gamer against Texas, a 3-gamer against Houston, and a 4-gamer against Texas. I think Seattle is going to carry the best record and by like a couple of games because of this schedule into those last 10 games between Texas, Houston, and Texas again. And it's just going to be a race between the Mariners and Texas in 7 of those final 10 to outpace each other to get there. I think Seattle will, but I'm going to 100% roll with Cody Decker. If you're going to push that button, push it today, because that number is going to be, by the next time that we are all together, next Saturday to do this show, that number is going to be down closer to even money.